My neighbor pretended to be mute for 5 years just to avoid talking to the rest of us.
Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take the sources you send us, could be articles, notes, research, and really dig in. We pull out the surprising facts, the crucial insights. Basically, we want to give you a shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. And today, wow, we have a pretty wild set of notes. A listener shared this first-hand account from Reddit. The title was, "My neighbor pretended to be mute for 5 years just to avoid talking to the rest of us."
Yeah, that title definitely grabs you.
It really does. So, okay, let's unpack this because it's a story that honestly makes you rethink, well, apartment living maybe, and the sheer effort some people put into avoiding small talk.
Definitely the art of avoidance.
Right. So the setting, our narrator, they've lived in this mid-range apartment complex for about 7 years. It's described as, a mix. Normal folks, some weirdos.
The usual apartment mix, basically.
Exactly. And maybe a few who seem like they're in witness protection, as the narrator puts it. Their immediate neighbor is this guy, Tom. Mid-40s, tall, kind of stocky, always wore a baseball cap. The narrator says he looked perpetually like a dad going to Home Depot.
Okay, I can picture that guy.
And his expression, totally unreadable. Like, was he judging you? Just lost in thought? Who knows?
So the mystery starts early.
It does. But here's the really fascinating part. Tom's behavior. He never, ever spoke. Not just quiet, but he actively acted like he couldn't speak.
Acted? How so?
Well, if you greeted him, he'd just nod, maybe give this really awkward smile. But if you asked him a direct question, he'd pull out this little notepad.
A notepad, seriously?
Yeah. And scribble down a response. Apparently super polite, clearly written. He even added little smiley faces sometimes.
Wow. Okay. That's commitment.
Isn't it? So naturally, word got around the building pretty quick. Tom's mute.
Right. People would just assume.
Exactly. And people respected it, Didn't push him. If he needed maintenance or had a package, it was all notes or pointing. He just became the quiet, mysterious neighbor.
And this wasn't just for a few weeks or months?
No. This went on for 5 full years.
5 years. That's incredible.
5 years of Tom living right next door in total silence, except, for maybe faint TV sounds through the wall. The narrator noticed little things over time, like Tom drank a lot of black coffee, drove a really clean silver Toyota Corolla. Seemed like he might be into fishing, maybe.
Just these tiny details building up over half a decade.
Right. And he was usually home during the day, but then he'd leave around 11 p.m. on weekends. So the assumption was, okay, night shift.
Makes sense. And, in apartment buildings, people can be so close physically, but still kind of live in their own bubbles.
Totally. So this whole mute thing, while maybe a bit odd, wasn't something people, investigated deeply. It was just Tom.
Until it wasn't.
Until the incident. Okay, so picture this.
Yeah.
Tuesday night, it's late, 1:30 a.m., fire alarm goes off.
Oh, the classic apartment bonding experience.
Right. Everyone piles outside in their pajamas, half asleep. And Tom's out there, too, of course. They get the all clear. People start shuffling back inside. And then this drunk neighbor stumbles near Tom, drops his phone right at Tom's feet.
Okay.
And then Tom speaks.
No.
Yes. Not a mumble, not a whisper. A full, completely normal voice. Apparently had a bit of a Midwestern accent. He just says, clear as day. Hey, man, you dropped your phone.
Oh, my God. The reaction must have been immediate.
Instantaneous. The narrator describes it as a collective head turn. So sharp it could knocked over a trash can. Jaws literally dropped. And this one neighbor, Mrs. Hendricks, who is described as elderly but very sharp. She immediately pipes up, wait a damn minute.
Good for Mrs. Hendricks.
Yeah.
And Tom, what did he do?
His face just crumpled. The source says he looked like a kid caught stealing cookies. His entire 5-year identity just gone, exposed.
So what did he say? Did he explain?
Nope. He just kind of shrugged, muttered, yeah, sorry, turned around, and went back inside his apartment, left everyone standing there stunned.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So the secret's out. What happened after that? Chaos.
Pretty much chaos, yeah. Word spread through that building like wildfire. People were furious.
Furious that he could talk? Or...
Not that he could talk exactly, but that he'd been pretending for 5 years. All those polite little notes, the awkward smiles. It was all a lie, basically. A performance.
Right. The deception.
Exactly. And the truth eventually came out, apparently, from the building manager, who was also pretty ticked off.
Okay. So what was the actual reason?
It was simple, almost disappointingly so. Tom just didn't like talking to neighbors. He figured faking muteness was the easiest way to avoid small talk.
And, you have to admit, it worked. Perfectly. For 5 years. until that one random moment.
It did work flawlessly. So how's Tom doing now?
Well, the act is obviously over now. He avoids all eye contact, walks super fast down the hallways, head down, keys already out like he's speed running to his door.
Yeah. Wow, a complete reversal.
Total reversal. No more notepad, no more nods. He's just become a social ghost, as the narrator puts it, completely withdrawn.
So the narrator, how do they feel about it all now?
It's a mix. Mainly just weirded out by the whole thing, which is understandable. But also, there's this strange hint of, like, respect.
Respect for the lie.
Not for the lie itself, but for the sheer commitment. Think about it.
Yeah.
5 years of dedicated method acting just to dodge awkward chats about the weather or whatever. It's kind of mind-boggling.
It really is something. So when you boil it all down, what's the takeaway here? What's this story really telling us?
Well, the original poster sort of summed it up.
Yeah.
Maybe small talk is just so unbearable for some people.
That they'll fake a disability for half a decade to avoid it?
Yeah. It's an extreme, almost unbelievable example, isn't it? But it really highlights the hidden lengths people might go to just to manage social interaction or maybe avoid it entirely.
And how easily we can misunderstand what's going on with the people right next to us.
Absolutely. We build these narratives based on limited information.
This deep dive definitely makes you think, doesn't it? About all the, silent stories playing out in the apartments or houses next door. Makes you wonder, what social interactions do you maybe try to avoid? And what does this whole thing say about our need for personal space, even if getting it means going to such extreme lengths?
It's a fascinating question. Keep observing, keep questioning those assumptions. And remember, sometimes the quietest people have the loudest secrets.
I stopped helping my sick mom because I was tired.
The huge unseen strain of family caregiving. We're actually diving into some very raw personal notes today. Someone sharing their story of caregiver burnout. They compared it to finding old Tupperware in the fridge. You open it and instantly regret having a nose. Sets the scene, doesn't it, for something heavy but relatable?
It really does. And our mission here isn't just to look at stats or general advice. We want to pull out the real core insights from this very specific, very personal story. It gives such an unfiltered look at what being a primary caregiver truly means, especially, when those lines blur between helping and losing yourself, when self-preservation becomes, crucial.
Exactly. We're going to follow this journey, right? From willing support all the way to the breaking point, and then look at what happens after. That really complicated feeling when you choose to step back for yourself.
Okay, so this person starts by describing, 4 or 5 years? Being the main caregiver for their mother, dealing with heart problems, diabetes, arthritis, a lot.
And the family dynamic sounds familiar too. Youngest of 3, the only one nearby, siblings, offering thoughts and prayers from afar, or just gone.
Right. Basically a ghost, I think was the phrase used. It immediately shows you that unequal burden, how one person often gets pushed or just falls into that primary role.
And what really struck me is how that initial willingness, it kind of hides the slow burn, doesn't it? At first they felt like, okay, I could do this forever. That sense of duty, maybe guilt, it feels huge.
Oh, absolutely. That almost primal guilt.
Yeah.
But then the narrative shows how their whole life just got eaten alive. That was the term.
Yeah. Weekends gone, personal plans, forget it. Their identity just sort of shrinks down to son who drives mom to the pharmacy.
And friends stop calling.
Right. Because the answer is always, maybe, if mom doesn't need me. And the reality, she always needed something.
That's not just being tired. It's deeper. It's identity erosion, social connection, just withering. Experts sometimes call it role engulfment. Your whole self gets defined by this one role.
Role engulfment.
And it leads straight to isolation, burnout. The account lists it all. Constant calls, appointments, errands, cleaning, listening to complaints, those late night checks.
And feeling like you just can't say no. They mentioned fearing the tone.
Ah, yes, the tone. That flat, disappointed voice that just weaponizes guilt.
Wow.
It's often not even malicious, maybe born from the care recipient's own fear or dependency.
Yeah.
But the impact, it creates this immense psychological weight.
So it's more than just feeling bad. It's this constant emotional bind.
Exactly. You feel obligated, but also like you're constantly disappointing them. Setting a boundary feels like betrayal, and that daily strain just wears down your resilience. Little things start feeling huge.
Which leads us to the breaking point. And honestly, it's almost painfully relatable. Gets a frantic call at work, rushes outside in the freezing cold thinking it's an emergency.
And it's about paper towels.
Paper, towels, that was it. The snap. Didn't yell, didn't argue, just inside, something broke. Went home instead. Watched TV, played a game. Felt awful, but also weirdly light.
That quiet moment of choosing self is such a turning point. They describe consciously pulling back, still helping with the big stuff, the serious needs, but switching off that drop everything reflex.
And the mom's reaction, predictably difficult. Well, I guess I can't rely on anyone anymore. Ouch.
Yeah, that stings. But the story shows the other side, too. The caregiver starts getting energy back, finishes a book, goes to brunch, sleeps better. It really shows burnout isn't just physical. It's reclaiming yourself, your autonomy.
This whole account, it's so honest. It doesn't wrap things up neatly, but it leaves us with this core truth, doesn't it? I stopped being the good kid because it was killing me. I still love her, but I'm choosing me, at least some of the time.
That's the heart of it. The profound difficulty, that tension between setting boundaries and that deep sense of love and responsibility. The conclusion here really echoes what so many caregivers discover, often the hard way. Sometimes you have to put the weight down before it crushes you, even if someone you love is holding the other end.
It definitely makes you think, doesn't it? About well-being, family dynamics, all of it. It's this powerful reminder that even when love feels boundless, our capacity isn't. We have limits. So the question it leaves you with, really, is how do we balance that unwavering love, that sense of duty, with our own vital need to survive, to preserve ourselves, especially when the person we care for might not see or maybe can't understand those limits we desperately need, something to really mull over.
Rented an apartment, and the landlord kept coming over at night to sleep there.
Okay, let's unpack this. Picture this.
Yeah.
You're searching, maybe desperately, for an affordable apartment. The market's just brutal. And your budget is, let's say, well, let's call it a mid-range Costco grocery bill. Not a lot to work with.
Right. Tough spot.
Then, boom, Craigslist. One-bedroom triplex, $650 a month, utilities included. In, like, a normal Midwest city, it just screamed, too good to be true.
Okay, yeah. Alarm bells already.
So you meet the landlord, Rick. He's got that Midwestern-friendly vibe going on. Seems nice enough.
Theme.
But he prefers, month-to-month handshake agreements. No formal lease.
Ah, there it is.
And maybe you think, oh, great, less paperwork. Like, you found some amazing loophole.
Yeah.
A real lucky break.
Yeah, and looking back, it's fascinating, isn't it? How those very things, the super low price, the no lease approach, the things that made it seem attractive, they should have been the biggest warnings. It really makes you wonder, how often does that feeling of convenience, like, oh, this is easy, make us just completely ignore basic protections, like a lease?
Totally, it blinds you. So initially, it's, okay, the kitchen smells a bit like old bacon, maybe, but hey, you manage.
In there.
Rick even shares the Wi-Fi. Password, Rick, 1334. Seriously.
Oh, wow. Secure.
But then little things start. You come home, and it smells like someone just made eggs and toast. You kind of brush it off. Maybe it's drifting from next door.
Right, you rationalize it, because the alternative is uncomfortable.
Exactly.
And this is really how it starts, isn't it? This slow creep, a seemingly small lack of boundaries, just paving the way for much bigger intrusions. From, a broader view, it shows how when you don't have that legal structure, that lease, it's not just inconvenient, it's like an open door for a huge power imbalance.
Okay, so here's where the sort of low-level unease turns into actual alarm. One Tuesday, 2:30 a.m. footsteps.
Oh, no.
Our listener peeks out, and there's Rick, pajama pants, making a sandwich at their kitchen counter.
Inside their apartment.
Inside. And he looks at them like they're the weirdo. Mumbles something like, oh, hey, didn't mean to wake you.
Just, wow. The audacity.
And it didn't stop.
Yeah.
Like twice a week. Sometimes 11 p.m., sometimes 4 a.m. Rick just unlocks the door, makes food, crashes on the couch, charges his phone.
Unbelievable.
His excuse was always, long day, just didn't feel like going upstairs.
I mean, this is such a fundamental violation. A landlord just cannot enter your home like that without proper notice, period.
Right.
Let alone use it as their own, late night diner and crash pad. This goes way beyond inconvenient. It violates your basic right to quiet enjoyment, your right to peace and privacy in your own rented space. It's a psychological invasion, really.
It gets worse. The absolute lowest point. Sunday night, listener comes home, maybe 9 p.m. Lights are on.
Okay.
Empty pizza box on the coffee table. And Rick is asleep in their bed.
No.
Yes. Not just on the bed, under the covers. Like he lives there.
Oh, my God. That's terrifying.
The first thought was, literally, this is how people end up on date night.
I don't blame them.
So they confront him. And Rick acts confused. Says he owns the place and just likes to check in, make sure things are okay.
Check in by sleeping in their bed.
And then he flips it. Suggests, well, maybe this just isn't the right fit for you. Like the tenant is the problem roommate here.
Wow. That's textbook gaslighting, making the tenant feel unreasonable for expecting, not to find their landlord in their bed.
Exactly.
And it's depressingly common in these situations without formal agreements. The person with less power, the tenant, can start to doubt themselves, thinking maybe they're overreacting. It's a way to completely blur the lines when one person holds all the cards.
So that was it, the absolute breaking point. Later that week, catches Rick at 6 a.m. reading their mail.
Reading their mail?
Yeah, mail that was still outside the mailbox. Just standing there, flipping through it.
Okay, that's a federal offense, besides being incredibly creepy.
Right. So that night, they packed everything. Everything. Texted Rick 2 days later, I'm out. Keep the $200 deposit.
And Rick's response?
A single thumbs up emoji. That's it.
Chillingly casual. Okay, so if we pull back and think about what this means for you, the listener, it just hammers home how vital it is to understand your rights as a tenant.
Absolutely.
And even more, to always have a formal, written agreement, even for what seems like a simple, casual setup. The real lesson here isn't just, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. It's also about how our brains, especially when we're stressed or desperate, can push aside massive red flags just for some immediate relief.
Yeah, that desire for a quick fix.
Rick totally exploited that. It shows that no lease isn't just a paperwork shortcut. It's basically an invitation for someone to potentially take complete advantage, maybe even mess with your head.
So where does that leave our listener now? Well, they're in a smaller studio. Walls are paper thin. There's a neighbor upstairs who plays the trumpet. Not exactly paradise.
Not ideal.
But
yeah,
they have peace of mind, which is huge, as they put it. At least no one's crawling into my bed while I'm gone.
That's a pretty powerful baseline, isn't it? Peace of mind is priceless.
It really is. So beyond just the legal stuff, this whole deep dive really shows how fast our sense of security, our privacy can just evaporate, especially when we trade protection for convenience. Makes you think, doesn't it? What kind of unconscious assumptions are we making in everyday situations, especially when things feel just a little too easy? What are we potentially overlooking?
Lost my wallet in a bar. Ended up finding a weird friend and maybe a new direction in life.
We take your sources, your stories, your notes, and we dig in to find those interesting little nuggets. And we've got a really unique one. It's actually a personal story someone sent in.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it starts with, one of those awful, chaotic days. We've all been there. But it takes a turn.
Okay.
So we're going to look at this anecdote maybe as a sort of case study about how these, disruptive moments can actually shift things, maybe open you up.
Right, like disruptive serendipity. That's a concept that fits here, I think. It's not just a happy accident. It's how something negative, counterintuitively perhaps, sets the stage for something. Well, unexpected and positive.
Exactly. So they describe themselves as a life is mostly chaos kind of person. You know the type.
Yeah.
Just try not to spill coffee on yourself.
Yeah, know it well.
Well, this past Friday, that was really tested. They were already in a terrible mood. Boss made them stay late, extra hour, the whole deal.
Ugh, the worst.
So they end up, after work, at this bar, dimly lit, kind of upscale dive, one of those places they usually avoid.
Okay, so not their usual scene.
Not at all. They're already thinking, how fast can I make an excuse and leave? Just totally checked out.
That's such a classic setup for just stewing in a bad mood, isn't it? Just wanting out.
Totally. But then, little things started to maybe chip away at it. The bar was playing some good 90s alt rock.
Oh, nice. Small comfort.
Yeah, and the fries were really crispy. Good fries. And the bartender poured a pretty generous drink. Little things.
Those micro interventions, yeah. They seem minor, but they can subtly shift your emotional state, make you maybe a tiny bit less rigid,
Right.
Less locked into the bad mood.
Right. So our listener starts to actually relax a bit. Does that little awkward shoulder bounce dance thing in their chair? We've all done it.
Totally. Feeling the music a bit.
And then it hits.
Yeah.
The realization. Wallet. Gone.
No.
Instant panic. Checking every pocket under the chair. Frantic trip to the bathroom. Retracing steps. Nothing.
Ugh. That feeling is just the absolute worst. The immediate impact. It's huge.
Totally.
It's not just the practical stuff, right? Driver's license, couple of credit cards, debit card, work ID, even the, $47 in cash?
Yeah, $47.
But it's also this symbolic stuff. That sentimental cartoon cat keychain you mentioned from high school.
Yeah. Worn out, but important.
Exactly. It's like a piece of your identity, your daily function suddenly just gone.
Right.
That vulnerability hits hard. It triggers a specific kind of stress.
You can feel it, right? So they tell their coworkers, got to go home, cancel cards. And naturally, it starts raining.
Of course it does.
And not just raining, but that cold, sideways, soak through your jeans rain. Universe just piling it on.
Absolutely miserable.
So they're walking to the parking lot, head down, probably already mentally dialing the bank when they hear this shout, "Hey!"
You!
Okay, here's the turn. Because in that moment of crisis, sometimes you're sort of forced to stop, to reorient.
Yeah, and there's this guy jogging towards them in the miserable rain, holding something up.
The wallet, everything's there. But it's not just, oh, thanks, bye. This guy, Caleb, apparently mid-30s, scruffy beard.
Right.
He hands it back and just says, super bluntly, "Found this under the bar. You look like the type to lose things."
Wow. Okay. Direct.
Direct, but accurate, I guess. And then, after confirming everything's there, even the cash, Caleb just stands there, waiting, and then says, "You owe me a drink."
Huh. What a line. Peculiar, but, I mean, it worked.
It worked. They went back inside. That one drink turned into like 3 hours, just talking.
What? Right.
Everything. Bad jobs, weird family stories. It's a very important debate about the best kind of fries.
Okay. Crucial. And the answer is?
Curly, obviously, according to them. Anyway.
Acceptable, go on?
And this Caleb guy, he was, quote, weird in a good way. Former IT guy, totally burned out, reads conspiracy theories just for fun, points out dogs wearing sweaters.
Okay, I like Caleb. Sounds like an interesting character.
Right. And somewhere in that conversation, maybe over wings, our listener realized they were properly laughing, like belly laughing, for the first time in weeks.
That's significant, that release.
Huge. And the next day, same boss, same laundry pile, same leaky ceiling. But they woke up feeling, quote, weirdly lighter.
That lighter feeling is key. It's like a micro version of post-traumatic growth, almost. The negative event, the lost wallet, the stress, it broke the pattern.
Yeah, that's what they said. I lost my wallet last Friday. And I guess, in a way, I found a friend, maybe even a little piece of myself I'd been missing. Life's dumb like that sometimes.
It really highlights how disruption, even negative disruption, can force a perspective shift. It can shake you out of your routine just enough to notice something or someone new.
So the takeaway here, maybe for you listening, it's this idea of disruptive serendipity. It's not just a cute story.
No, it challenges that idea that we always need control, that chaos is purely bad. Sometimes, it seems, the chaos is what creates the opening.
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe think about this. How might even the frustrating things, the mishaps in your life, the metaphorical lost wallets, how might they actually be an invitation?
An invitation to look up, maybe? To notice who's standing there holding your stuff, metaphorically speaking.
Could those frustrations be openings for new connections or just a different way of seeing things? Something to chew on.
Gave my wife a vacuum as a gift. Now I'm apparently the villain in our marriage and living in Cold War conditions.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into a fascinating and maybe a bit of a cautionary tale from the world of relationships today. Our source. It's a really compelling post from an online relationship forum. It describes how a gift, a seemingly practical gift, actually ignited a marital Cold War.
And what's so interesting here, I think, is how good intentions can just go spectacularly wrong, especially when communication styles clash.
Right.
We see this disconnect between thinking in solutions, like fixing a problem, and thinking in gestures, like showing affection or understanding. It really makes you ask, when is a gift, more than just an object?
Yeah, exactly. So this deep dive centers on a husband and his wife, Anna. They're in their early 30s, married almost 6 years, living in Ohio, with a golden retriever that sheds, apparently, a lot.
Ah, the shedding dog, a classic catalyst.
Yeah, could be. The husband describes himself as the practical one, the type, compares peanut butter prices, that sort of thing. Anna, on the other hand, enjoys little luxuries, expensive candles, nice skincare.
So different priorities there already. And the core conflict, it seems, started because Anna had been complaining for months about their old vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, that's the trigger.
It apparently had a loose handle, the suction was weak, and it made this noise he described as a dying goose noise. Cleaning felt like an Olympic sport with broken equipment, she said.
Oh, wow. So you can see where his head was at.
Exactly. Problem identified.
So, being the smart, observant husband, as he puts it, he decided to surprise her. And he really did his homework, read Wirecutter reviews, even watched vacuuming videos online.
Dedication.
Right. He settles on this shiny cordless Dyson model, $599, wraps it up carefully. He genuinely believed he was giving her something she'd really been wanting. You could almost picture him feeling pretty pleased with himself.
Oh, absolutely. He's thinking, nailed it. But the reveal, well, that was last Saturday morning, and it was anything but joyful.
What happened?
Anna opens it, stares at it, then looks up at him, and he says it was like she'd just been handed divorce papers. And she asks, "Did you seriously just give me a vacuum?" Just flat out. The air must have gone right out of the room.
Oh, man. Yeah. She called it insulting. Said it was like getting a gym membership for her birthday, implying, she wasn't doing enough cleaning or something.
Wow.
And she said, romance is dead. The poor husband was stunned. He tried to explain, no, this makes cleaning easier for both of us. But she just shook her head and walked off.
And the fallout is significant. Now, 5 days later, they're in this Cold War situation. Conversations are polite, but really distant. And the Dyson, it's still sitting in the living room untouched, like a cursed object.
Yikes.
His attempts to fix it, making her favorite pasta, apologizing twice, haven't worked. Because I think he's trying to solve the surface problem, not the underlying feeling.
Right. And then he shared the story with a buddy who just laughed and said, "You basically gave her a reminder that she cleans more than you do. Rookie mistake."
Ouch. But probably true, symbolically speaking.
Yeah, that hit home for him. He had this stark realization. I think in solutions, and she thinks in gestures. He's left wondering if he should have just gone with flowers and a spa gift card, like a normal husband.
And that's the crux of it, isn't it? That fundamental difference in how they approach things and interpret actions. He saw a problem, found a high-tech fix. She felt, well, unseen, maybe unappreciated in a different way. She wanted a gesture of romance, perhaps, not an appliance.
Seems so obvious in hindsight, but in the moment, yeah.
It's a common pattern, the solutions versus gestures dynamic. It trips a lot of people up.
So wrapping this up, what are the big takeaways from this Dyson debacle, as we could call it?
Well, it's a really powerful illustration of that gap between intention and perception. His intention was genuinely helpful, practical. Her perception was entirely different, symbolic, maybe even insulting. It shows that a practical gift, however well meant, can carry this unstated, sometimes negative, symbolic meaning, especially when there are unspoken expectations floating around in a relationship. A gift is almost never just the thing itself.
Yeah, it definitely makes you think twice about whether being practical is always the most practical approach when feelings are involved. Like the post suggests, maybe sometimes it's the least practical thing you can do in a marriage.
It's a great point. And it raises a really important question for you listening.
Yeah.
How do you make sure your own gestures of care, gifts, actions, whatever, are actually received the way you intend them? How do you navigate those potential symbolic meanings or unspoken expectations?
That's a really valuable thought to ponder. Thinking about the nuances of connection and how easily wires can get crossed.
Went on a first date with a girl, and she casually told me she's been following me for a year.
It really blurs the lines between, romance, detective work, and maybe just a bit of unease. We've got one source, this Reddit thread from In Relationships. It's titled, "Went on a first date with a girl, and she casually told me she's been following me for a year." So our mission here is to unpack this. It's a truly wild first date story. Started as a normal Hinge match, apparently, but it turned into something. Yeah, kind of like a low-budget thriller. We're going to explore how this whole following thing unfolded and, what it means when online dating spills over into the real world in ways you just don't expect.
Yeah, what's really fascinating, I think, is how it mixes modern dating apps with these older, maybe more concerning ways of getting to know someone. And it definitely brings up big questions. Privacy, boundaries, how our digital lives and our physical lives connect or maybe collide. We'll dig into the details the poster shared and what this whole scenario might tell us about, navigating new connections today.
Right. So the poster, he's 29, works in IT support in a mid-sized U.S. city, describes his social life as modest but functional. He matches with this woman, Maya, on Hinge. Her profile sounds pretty artsy. Film photography, true crime podcasts, late-night diner runs, that kind of thing. They clicked over sarcastic humor, seemed okay, so they set up a date.
But then, okay, the first little flag pops up, something maybe you'd brush off. Maya suggests meeting at the Copper Bean. It's a coffee shop the poster loves, but he never mentioned it to her.
Right, and he kind of dismissed it initially, thought, okay, popular spot, maybe it's just a coincidence.
But that small detail, it already shows this imbalance, right? Where one person has information the other doesn't know they have, even before they properly meet.
Exactly, which makes what happened next just so jarring. They're about 40 minutes in, conversation's flowing, seems fine. Then Maya just casually leans in and says, it's kind of funny being here with you after watching you for so long.
Whoa, dropped it in there.
Yeah, and when he, obviously confused, asks her to clarify, she just says plain as day. Yeah, I've been kind of following you for about a year now. He said his brain made a Windows error noise, which, you can imagine.
Oh, absolutely. That feeling of just system crash. The normal social rules just vanish when something like that happens. It's a real boundary violation. And what's maybe even more unsettling is how calmly she explained how she did it. Started last summer. Saw him at a street festival.
Thought he was cute, but didn't approach him then.
No. Instead, she just started noticing him in public.
She listed places, didn't she? Like the grocery store.
The grocery store, the bus. She even threw in a comment like, you look tired, lol.
Okay, that's weirdly specific.
Right. A bookstore, even accidentally at a bar during a football game. It wasn't just bumping into him, it was sustained observation.
And that was just the physical part.
Exactly. Then came the digital stuff. She admitted she found his Instagram.
How did she manage that?
By connecting the dots, she said. Overheard a friend call him by his first name in a coffee shop somewhere. Then she searched city hashtags. Found him.
Wow.
And followed him silently for months. Liked to post now and then. It just shows how easily public bits of info can be pieced together, turns into surveillance.
And the real kicker, she made her Hinge profile specifically hoping he'd see it and match with her.
Yeah, that's dedication, but not in a good way. It's targeted, based on a year of watching him without his consent.
So the poster's reaction, it's telling. He said there was this split second of wow, someone likes me this much.
A fleeting kind of flattering thought, maybe?
For a microsecond. Then it immediately flipped to, this is how Dateline episodes start. Total creep out.
Understandable. He felt like it became a low-key interrogation, especially when she mentioned things like seeing him jogging.
Oh, yeah, the blue hoodie near Riverside Park. The one he said he wears when he looks like a swamp creature.
Right. That level of detail. It completely shatters any feeling of safety or normalcy you might have had about the interaction.
So the date ends. He paid the bill.
Yeah.
He wasn't sure if that was polite or just being a coward, he said. Mumbled some vague goodbye, got out of there, blocked her on Hinge and Instagram that same night.
And he even abandoned his favorite coffee shop, the Copper Bean. Place is ruined for him now.
Yeah, says he feels paranoid now, scans crowds, takes different routes to work. It really affected him.
The TLDR he wrote basically sums it up. Matched girl, went on date. She revealed she'd been following him for a year, physically and online, without him knowing.
And his moral of the story, it's pretty blunt. If someone knows your favorite coffee shop before you've told them your last name, maybe just run.
It's stark, but it really hits on that fundamental trust boundary, doesn't it? What you expect when meeting someone new.
Definitely. So thinking about this, what does it all mean for you, the listener, as you're out there making connections?
Well, zooming out a bit, it raises that big question again. We live in this age of digital footprints. Information is everywhere. So where is the line? How do we tell the difference between genuine interest and, frankly, concerning surveillance, especially when it comes to dating?
Exactly. So here's a final thought for this deep dive, something for you to chew on. How do you think technology has really changed our expectations, our behaviors when we meet new people? And what might be some of those unexpected downsides, like this story highlights, that maybe we're still figuring out? Something to mull over until our next deep dive.
Thanks for being with us.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.